Okay, so on this course we are going to do some styling on the order forms, as well as flip this index page to a WHMCS one. Let's go right ahead and do that right now. So this is the main page of clubcoder.com, which is the temporary text that I put up when installing the domain. I'm gonna go here and go to my file manager and simply delete that index.html file that I was creating when installing the domain. I'm going to delete this file. So now by default the index.php will be loading if I refresh this club coder. There we go. So this is the WHMCS home page, which is using the home.tpl in the template directory. And now we are going to take a look at the order forms. I want to customize this a bit. So first thing, I want to make the whole process much simpler. So I want to make the process simpler and the process also easier for our customers to go through the whole ordering process. So first thing I want to switch is this order now buttons, and the buttons on the order forms is kind of grayish and not stand out, and I want to change that for now. So I'm going to view the source code and see where the CSS file is located here. If I view source, as you can see, the CSS is templates, default, CSS, and WHMCS.css. So let's go right ahead and open that CSS file. Go back to the file manager here, and I'm going to go to the templates folder and default CSS. Oops, wrong folder there. I'm going to go back one level. CSS and WHMCS.css file. I'm going to open this with the code editor and edit the file. As you can see, we are editing the input button here. So I'm going to search the input CSS codes. If I search at the bottom there, you see input. And it has to be the order forms, which is this one. Let me see. I think it's this one, the button types, right? WHMCS order form input type button, and this whole thing, the submit as well. So I'm going to remove the default one, and I have prepared here on the right the CSS which I want to use, which is an yellowish or orange look type of buttons. I'm going to put it here, paste it there, and save the changes on the top here. Now let's see how it looks now. If I refresh this page, oh, much better, right? So the order now button is much bigger now. Let's take a look what we want to edit next. The text here, it's kind of small. I want to make it like a big chunky font all over the ordering form. So this is a bit small. Let's change that. Okay, so let's check the source code again. View page source. And I'm looking for the CSS for the order form, which is this one, as you can see. Templates, order forms, web2o cart, and then style.css. Go back to the file manager, and we're going to go to templates, order forms, web2o cart. We are using the web2o cart order form template and not the Ajax cart. I changed that because the Ajax cart looks not the way that I wanted, so I switched it in web2o cart. So that is what we are doing. And the CSL, which is the CSS, which is the style, this one. I'm going to use my code editor, edit, and add a font size property on the top here. Font size 17 pixels, and I'm going to save my changes here and reload the page here. Looks much better, isn't it? So it's much clearer and it's not so small. Now the top here, it is kind of distracting, so I want to remove the whole lines here. We do have the few cart buttons on the bottom, so I don't need these links to confuse people when they are ordering. So what I'm doing is I'm going to remove the lines here, which is in the templates of the Web 2.0 cart. Let's check out on how to do that. So to remove this part, we are actually browsing which products to choose. So if we go back to the templates folder, it should be the same folder as we are adding the previous part, changing the fonts, the CSS, but this one is the products.tpl page. I'm gonna go and launch my code editor and edit this file. Now this is the top part, the browse language, which is browse product and services. Now this whole div is the one that we are wanting to remove. I'm not gonna delete this coding. It's better if you're editing WHMCS templates, just comment out the ones that you don't want to appear instead of deleting the whole thing. So just in case we are going to revert back, we can revert back. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm just commenting out this part all the way until the end of the div there. There we go. And I'm going to save the changes and refresh this page. This should disappear now. There we go, much better. So discover, superpower, and all these pricing details is a bit confusing, isn't it? I just want to make it simpler. Just $25 one time, and then this is just $5 a month or $55 a year. Now to fix that, I think this one we don't have to use the breakdown sign up. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to log into my WHMCS admin area, clubcoder.com, admin, my secret admin folder URL, and I'm going to go ahead, go to setup and general settings, and let me see, ordering. See, we have changed this to Web 2.0 cart and not the Ajax cart as we initially want to use, because this is better, and I don't want the monthly pricing breakdown. So I'm gonna uncheck this, save the changes, and refresh this page. It should look simpler now. There we go, $50 annually or $5 monthly. That's even better. So now I want to remove this part and just display $25 one-time setup fee. Okay, so to change this, I think we set up the pricing for the Discover package incorrectly. I'm going to go to my admin for WHMCS, go to setup, and then product services, and go product services, and check my Discover package, As you can see here, if we go to pricing, this is actually already set up as a one-time payment, right? It is not we did not choose recurring, so we can change this to actually use $25 one time. $25. I was thinking if I put this, it'll be a monthly price of $25, but actually we already choose the payment type as one time, so we don't have any setup fee. I'm gonna make it 0, but we do have a one-time fee of $25. I'm gonna save the changes. I think this is going to be set up correctly now. If I go back to the shopping cart and refresh this, there we go. Much simpler and not confusing. So we have discover, learn how to code and publish your work instantly for the world to enjoy. $25 one time. Learn how to code and publish your work instantly for the world to enjoy. With the superpower package, you can set up to 5 projects at once. It's kinda, we can make this better. Let's change the description a bit. I'm gonna go back here, back to product list. So you can see how we work this through. You can set things up initially when you are setting up everything, but as you go along, feel free to change whatever you have set up incorrectly and make it better all the way until you are ready to launch the whole business. So here I'm gonna edit my superpower package here and go to description. This is not so good and not so clear. Let's change this to something else. Start using your newly found superpower to help others. That's better, right? You can create up to 5 websites. Okay, that should be enough, and save the changes. Let's see how that looks. So discover, learn how to code and publish your work instantly for the world to enjoy. Superpower, start using your newly found superpower to help others. You can create up to 5 websites. Okay, that's more like it. So what if I choose to order one? Let's go. The next step is order now. Product configuration. The product or service you have chosen requires a domain name. So please enter your domain name selection from below. This is always a bit confusing from my perspective for others to, especially new beginners, to actually know what this is. So they come here, they just want to start learning how to code, right? So they have to figure out, what is this now? What is the do I have to transfer name servers? What are those? It's confusing. So instead of doing this whole thing, we are going to start with a subdomain, which is a username actually here. So we are going to redefine the whole domain configuration. Initially, people just need to figure out what username they want to have, right? The username, which will be their actual public domain name, and then afterwards, if they want to choose to buy their own domains, they can do that from inside the control panel. So let's redo this whole domain configuration as we wanted, so it will be much simpler. So instead of doing product configuration and then asking this, I'm going to rephrase the whole thing by asking, please choose your desired club coder username or something like that. Let's go ahead and do that. First, we want to remove this whole block, right? And pre-select the subdomain thing. So I'm gonna view the source code here. What is the subdomain option here? If I scroll up again, let's see, I'm gonna search it instead. Subdomain, there we go. That's the styling. Okay, so this is the input I want, subdomain, right? I want this to be selected, so I'm gonna take this option here and actually pre-select that option. What I'm gonna do is I'm copying this, right, this whole input field. I'm gonna bring it over and edit the product configuration template and add that as a pre-selected option. So it's not going to show here. It's going to be a hidden input tag inside this template. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go back to my file manager. This is the previous one. I'm going to close this. Go back to my file manager, which is configure product domain, right? It's the domain level. Code editor here and edit. Now let's do the hidden part. I'm going to put the field here, as you can see, and make it a bit nicer. And I'm going, this is SLD3, the array. I'm going to change the input type to be hidden. Okay, make that hidden. Save this, and I want to hide this whole selection. Okay, so it'll be much simpler. I'm gonna hide that part. Okay, so actually what we want to do is we want to comment out the part that is inside the div here. As you can see on this is the one that we want to hide, but we want to keep this part, right? So if I change it, we want to keep this box. So let's go ahead and do that. First, we have already added this hidden value, right? Now I'm going to comment this out. Just all the way just before the div tag ends. So that's commented out. Also, I want to make the subdomain options always show. As you can see here, the subdomain display has been set to none because it want to change whenever you select this radio button. This changes, right? You select this changes. Now I want to have it predefined to this actual section. So let's go ahead and comment out the display equals none from this subdomain. I'm going to comment that out and I'm going to save the changes and that part, and we already comment out this part. Now let's refresh. If I refresh, now we have this, which is what we want. The product or service you have chosen requires a domain name, so please enter your domain name section from below. Now we want to change this whole wording as well, right? We can change it from the language file, or we can also change it directly on the template file. Let's go ahead and change it from the language file, which is the proper way to do it. I'm going to copy that and change it to our own wording. If I go back here, you can see this is the configuration for the cart product domain description, right? So the language file for this one, we can actually copy this part, and I'm going to go back to my file manager, go to the language file, go back to my public HTML, the root folder, and language, which is the lang, and then we have English, which is English here, and I'm going to edit that section. I'm going to look for that. I'm going to command F to search for that particular part and paste it. Oops, that's wrong. Paste it at the bottom here, and there we go. The product or surface you have chosen requires the whole thing here. Let's change that to our own wording. Please you choose your club coder username. This will be a part of your public domain name. You can change this to your own domain name once you have signed up. Let's read it. Please choose your club coder username. This will be a part of your public domain name. You can change this. This is a bit confusing. Let's just remove that. You can change this to your own domain name once you have signed up. That's a bit confusing still. I'm going to undo that. Please choose your club coder username. This will be a part of your public domain name. You can change this to your own domain name once you have signed up, or maybe later on. You can change this to your own domain name anytime. Anytime. Save changes, and let's see how it looks on the order form here. Please choose your club coder username. This will be a part of your public domain name. You can change this to your own domain name anytime. And the product configuration, let's change this as well. If we go to here, it's cart product config, right? I'm going to copy that and look in the language file which one that is. Here, club coder username. That's better. Save changes. I'm gonna refresh this. Club coder username. Please choose your club coder username. So, love coding. Let's just try it out. .clubcoder.com. It's gonna check. Something is wrong. It's not displaying the availability. Let's take a look what's wrong. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my template file here. So this is the subdomain part that we actually have to take. Input type radio name domain option. Value is subdomain. Right until this part is enough. So I'm going to copy that, and actually we don't need this part. I'm going to delete that. Input type and make it hidden. Hidden value is subdomain, and save changes. Now if we go back here and refresh this and try I love to code and hit continue, this should work. As you can see, now it's going to the next part. Coding packages discover I love to code.clubcoder.com. Okay, this is the order summary and it's looking pretty good. Price, breakdown, total due today, empty cart, continue shopping, check out. Okay, and then there's a promotion code. So I want to remove this two button actually, because empty cart, well, if they want to empty it they can, but they can also just remove it from here. Continue shopping, there is no other product or service to continue. It's not like an Amazon website where you can shop for a bunch of things. So I'm going to remove these two buttons and just leave the checkout button here. So this is the view cart option. Let's go ahead and check that out. So I'm going to close the file for this one and this one and go back to my product, my file manager, and I'm going to go to my templates and then order forms and web2o cart. This should be on the view cart option here. I'm gonna code editor, edit. Actually, if we look further down, we have the buttons here. Now input button, this is the one that we use to empty the cart. I'm gonna make a break here, and we have three buttons: empty cart, and then continue shopping, and then check out. So I'm gonna comment out the ones for empty cart and continue shopping and just leave the checkout button here. So I'm just gonna comment out these two buttons as you see and save changes and refresh this page. It should be more cleaner with just one checkout button. There we go. So we have checkout and promotional code, which actually I'm going to change this to school code. I am going to invite the schools all over North America to participate in Club Coder. So we can change this right now actually. Let's see, promotional code, we can change that to school code. I'm gonna go ahead and see which language here is being used. As you can see, so it's this one, lang.order promotion code, right? I'm gonna copy this and change it on the language file again, which is public HTML language in English, and go code editor, edit that. I'm gonna find with command F at the bottom and paste it there. There we go. School code, or maybe invitation code. invitation code. So schools can give these invitation codes to their students, and when they enter the invitation code, it's going to change the pricing structure. So let's save that. Instead of promotion, let's change it into invitation code. Do you have an invitation code? Now it looks even better, right? It's side by side, and they can enter the invitation code here or go to the checkout page. So that looks good. Let's go to the checkout page. Here we go. So let's see. This looks pretty simple and clean, but I don't like these notes. It's kinda make it a bit confusing. What notes should I supposed to put here? Maybe they will ask, right? So let's remove the notes section. It's going to be in the admin section here. Let's go to setup and then general settings and then ordering. Let's see about notes. Allow notes on checkout. Let's just uncheck that. Now we have a cleaner form. There we go. So just one simple form about the details: first name, last name, company name, email, and the whole thing here looks good. Okay, let's go ahead and start from the beginning again. Let's test it out. I'm gonna remove this, and I'm gonna go ahead, go home, and order form. So this is the main product and service package. So say I want to order this cover, order here, and discover.clubcoder.com. Click to continue. Order summary, discover, looks good. Let's see what happens if we put an invitation code. Here is an invitation code. Let me show you on how to apply this. If we go to WHMCS admin, product/services and promotions. Where is the promotions part here? Okay, I think it's in payments here. So we have promotions. Let's add a new one. Create new promotion. Promotion code. Let's see. Grade 4, which is for grade 4 students. Type is a fixed amount. $25 value applies to discover package only, and that's pretty much it. Product or services, you can just leave that empty. Domain, start date, expire date, maximum users, leave that empty. Number of users, and you can set this whole things here. New signups only, sure, I want that. Apply to new signups only, apply once per client, and that's pretty much it. I'm gonna save changes. So we just created a promotion grade 4. I'm gonna try it out, grade 4, and validate code. Voila, now it's free. We can even check out. Oh, we don't want this. Don't use promotional code. Want to change it to don't use invitation code. Let's just find it here. Don't use invitation code. So it's the same language file, and I'm gonna try see how this looks now. Don't use invitation code, and looks good. Order summary and check out. So payment details, we have PayPal, which is the only one activated, and looks good. So before we actually place a test order, we are going to configure a whole email template section, and then the logo itself for the PDF and here, and add Norton safe side seal, which is we are going to do on the next course. So once that's done, we can go through the whole ordering process and see how that looks. Okay, so this is it for this course. I'll see you on the next course.